So how I have this laid out, an end user accesses the web UI, ChatGPT, right? Sends the request to the API gateway, which sends it to a Lambda, which processes the request and eventually returns that response. This is not, I would say this would not, how I would secure this a little bit more, I would have a separate S3 bucket to separate the raw data, the source data, and the data that is actually being accessed to provide a user a response. So what I mean by that, for thinking here, think of it from an internal workflow. Your data scientist or your machine learning engineer uploads data into an S3 bucket that I call raw data storage. So this includes names, addresses, credit card information, email addresses, all that fun stuff. Ideally, as part of like feature engineering and data pre-processing, you're removing everything that you don't need. So if you don't need the credit card data to identify whether or not that's a cancerous tumor, then we want to make sure that the LLM, when it's accessing this data, doesn't have access to the credit cards, the emails, the PII, whatever the case may be. So separating out your data, so your training data or your raw data versus like your training data, that's a very common design flaw that I see that was called out by one of our security architects sometime last year.